Hey everybody, welcome to Ignite's Worship Wednesdays. Take my name tag off, people. It's 8 o'clock. I'm off the clock, huh? Nah, not really. But once again, welcome everybody. Welcome. Um, it's gonna be very brief today because I am at work and I'm supposed to be out of here. But I'm gonna try and get this out. I just wanted to talk a little bit about something that I've been going through recently, and I pay close attention just to my behaviors and stuff like that. So, and it has to deal with work. If you're around me a lot or if you talk to me a lot, you know I talk about the things that happen here or the things that I don't like that's happening here. So it's not really that I'm talking about it. I feel like I'm more so complaining. And so when I'm on the phone with Joe, I'm complaining about work. You know, when Eunice is here, we gossiping and complaining about work. If I'm with Debs or with the girls or something like that, you know, I'm complaining about work this, work that, work this. They're not doing this right. They're not doing this right. And I just started to notice a resistance in myself. When it comes to work, like I come to work in a mood, I'm giving attitude to my manager. I'm like, I don't care, I could get another job, this, that, and that. And you know, if you know my story, I work really hard to get, you know, where I am today. Not that I'm that far, but you know, I made some accomplishments to get here. And just last night, I was like, what am I going to talk about on the live? And God revealed to me, you know, you've been complaining a lot. So talk about that. Talk about how much you've been complaining. And I remember like going over this with myself 2-3 years ago with a friend of mine, just about complaining and how God feels about, you know, about us when we complain. And even in the Old Testament, if you go through just like any of the, I can't remember like the specific book, but it had to do with when they were in the wilderness and they were complaining a lot, which we all know they were complaining about everything. Even when God came through, they were still complaining. And there was a point in the Old Testament where they were complaining, and the Bible specifically says it kindled a fire in God, and that fire burned some of the camps that they had, and people died. Those people that were complaining, they died. And so I just want to go to this verse, Philippians 2, verse 14. It says, do all things without complaining and disputing, that you may become blameless and harmless children of God, without faults in the midst of a crooked and perversive generation. Among you shine as lights in the world. And that's Philippians 2, verse 14 and 15. And it just is very plain. It just says not to complain, you know, in whatever it is that you're doing. And the other verse that I remembered is James 1, verse 2, where it just says to count it all joy, you know, when you fall into various trials. So whatever it is that you're dealing with, to count it, you know, as something joyous, you know, not to look at the bad in a situation. And I find myself, you know, encouraging other people as far as like telling them like, you know, don't look at it as half empty, look at it as half full, you know, things of that nature. But sometimes, you know, when it comes to personal, you know, it's not that I'm counting it as half empty, but I did realize that I was just complaining a lot about things that I didn't like that was happening in work, and it did not help the situation. You know, that's the point that I'm trying to get to. So whatever it is that you may be in, and you find yourself complaining, it's not like you're coming up with a solution for that situation. So the complaining doesn't solve anything. It doesn't, you know, make the situation go away. It makes it worse, because, you know, my manager was saying, you know, what's wrong with Trish? She's so mean. And I was being mean because I didn't like some of the things that was happening at work. And so I was complaining about that. And, you know, it didn't change. Nothing switched around. and it made me even more upset, so I complained even more. And so I had to really like sit back and just think, obviously, you know, I don't want to lose my job, but just in all areas, you have to remember, you know, when things aren't the way that you expect them, when things aren't going the way that you expect it to go, it's so easy. It's so easy to complain. You know, even though this job, you know, I prayed for it. I asked God to help me to pass my exam so I could get the license. And here I am in this job that God has provided. You know, I'm getting good pay and all of that good stuff that He's done for me. And I'm complaining about, you know, little things that I'm very nitpicky about. And God was just really, you know, showing me that, like, hey, I've done all of this for you and you're still not satisfied. So I just want to encourage, you know, anyone who is in any situation. You may not be, you know, exactly where you want to be, but just remember that complaining does not help the situation. If anything, it will cause anger, and things can happen, you know, when you're angry, when you're feeling, you know, frustrated. That's when you make irrational decisions or you say irrational things. Eunice isn't here with me today because she had to sing, but, you know, I was telling her, like, man, if the manager come up to me and he, you know, he gonna write me up, I'm gonna tell him I'm gonna write him up, you know. And I have no authority to write him up, you know what I mean? But I was just that frustrated, and I was complaining that much that it just builds so much anger in me. And it didn't just stay at work. It kind of, you know, Joe gets that end of me, you know, being mean and stuff like that. So kind of spilled over just a little bit. So I just want to, you know, help you guys to remember, and not just for you guys, just for me. It's like a reiteration to myself, just to not complain, you know, especially when God has opened doors that I never thought would be open, or when He's made a way and I didn't even see a way and He made it happen for me. You know, when I get there, not to complain when things aren't going the way that I expect them to go. So that's just my little Worship Wednesday. I mean, I feel like Worship Wednesdays I should be worshiping, but I'm sick, guys, so I can't sing. Well, I feel very congested, so I can't sing, but I do want to say hello to everybody who is watching. Hey people on Instagram and Facebook. Make sure you please like and share. When you guys share the videos, people do come up to me like, I saw you on Worship Wednesday, and I'm like, me? Saw me on Worship Wednesdays? And yes, they're talking about me. So I appreciate that. Ignite definitely appreciates it. And the last thing that I wanted to say, which I kind of said on Snapchat the other day, was just that the year is coming to a close, and I know that everybody's probably going to be talking about this on their lives or Worship Wednesday videos or whatever, but the year is coming to a close, but it's not over. You still have time, you know, to kind of work on your goal that you had set for the year. Don't give up, you know, don't complain, don't give in, don't say that it's too much, you can't do it. Whatever it is that you set in your mind that you wanted to do, you know, try to set out a plan now and see what you can accomplish before the year ends, guys. And that's about it. You all have a good evening, and I'm out. Bye. This be the hardest part, trying to end the video, y'all, because the setup is ridiculous. Oh, God.